What if I told you one of the most mysterious figures in the entire Bible was taken to heaven without dying? Was quoted by Jesus' own brother, and connected to ancient stories of angels, giants, judgment, and the end of the world. His name is Enoch, and his story is far bigger than most people realize. The Book of Enoch is one of the most fascinating and controversial texts in ancient religious history. It's quoted in the Bible, respected by early Christians, and yet missing from most modern Bibles. Why? What happened to it? And what does it actually say? In this video, we are going to explore what the Bible really says about Enoch, the man, and the book, and why his story still matters deeply for us today. Let's start where Scripture starts, in Genesis. Who was Enoch in Scripture? The name Enoch first appears in Genesis 5:21-24. Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. After he begot Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Just 4 verses. No backstory, no miracles, no death, just gone. Hebrews 11:5 expands on this. By faith, Enoch was taken away, so that he did not see death, and was not found, because God had taken him. For before he was taken, he had this testimony, that he pleased God. Enoch becomes the first human in the Bible to be raptured. In a sense, taken directly by God, he is one of only 2 people in the Bible who never die, the other being Elijah. He also shows up in the genealogy of Luke 3 as the 7th generation from Adam, a number often associated with completeness. So the biblical picture is mysterious but powerful. Enoch walked with God, pleased God, and was taken. But is that the end of his story? Not even close. Why Jude quoted Enoch and what that means? Thousands of years later, one of the shortest books in the Bible quotes Enoch directly. Jude 14-15 says, "Now Enoch, the 7th from Adam, prophesied about these men also, saying, Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment on all." That line, "Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints," is not found anywhere in the Old Testament. It's found in 1 Enoch 1:9. This is important. Jude, the half-brother of Jesus, is quoting a prophecy that is only found in the Book of Enoch. That means at least part of Enoch was considered true prophecy by New Testament writers. Jude even goes out of his way to identify Enoch as the 7th from Adam, showing he believes this was a real, historical person and not just a mythological name. So how do we deal with this? Some argue that quoting a book does not make the whole book inspired, and that's true. Paul quotes Greek poets, Proverbs quotes ancient Egyptian sayings, but Jude doesn't just quote a poetic line. He calls it prophecy. This tells us something crucial. Even if the Book of Enoch was not included in the biblical canon, the early Christians respected it, and in Jude's case, believed it preserved a true revelation. What early Christians believed about the book. In the first few centuries after Jesus, many early Christian thinkers read, quoted, and even defended the Book of Enoch. Church fathers like Tertullian, Justin Martyr, Athenagoras, and Lactantius referred to it as authentic, inspired, or spiritually useful, especially when discussing the origin of demons, fallen angels, and the unseen realm. Tertullian, writing around 200 AD, argued that the Book of Enoch was rejected not because it was false, but because it was uncomfortable, especially for those who didn't want to believe in a supernatural worldview. Others believed that after Christ, the age of such prophecies had passed, so there was no need to preserve it alongside the New Covenant writings. Still, for several centuries, Enoch remained in use in many Christian circles. It also remained canonical in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, where it still is today, preserved in the ancient Ge'ez language. So why did it disappear from most Bibles? The short answer, canon formation was complex. Different early church communities had different collections of sacred texts. Over time, as church leaders tried to standardize Scripture, books like Enoch were excluded for not being universally accepted or directly quoted by Jesus. But that doesn't mean they were worthless. In fact, even the Roman Catholic Church includes Sirach Wisdom and Tobit, books not in the Protestant canon. Because of their spiritual insight, the Book of Enoch, while not canon, remains one of the most important non-canonical texts for understanding the ancient Jewish mindset, especially on angels, demons, and judgment. And that brings us to one of the most intriguing theories about Enoch today. Could Enoch be one of the two witnesses? In Revelation 11, we are introduced to two witnesses, powerful prophets who appear in the last days. They perform miracles, they call down plagues, they preach for 1,260 days, and they are eventually killed by the beast, only to be resurrected and taken up to heaven. Who are they? Many believe they are Elijah and Enoch, the two men in Scripture who never died. This theory comes from Hebrews 9:27, which says, "It is appointed for men to die once, but after this, the judgment." Since Elijah and Enoch never died, some argue they must return to fulfill this. Others believe the two witnesses are Elijah and Moses, based on the miracles they perform, turning water to blood, calling fire from heaven, stopping the rain, all things associated with those two prophets. But Moses died. And Jude says Michael, the archangel, disputed over Moses' body, which could suggest he is reserved for something more. The Enoch theory stands out because of how similar his story is to what the two witnesses do. He walked with God, he prophesied judgment, he was taken. Not killed, he lived in a violent pre-flood world, just like the witnesses will live in the violent world of the beast, whether he is one of the two witnesses or not. Enoch remains a prophetic figure who represents righteousness, resistance to evil, and bold proclamation in dark times. And that message is more relevant than ever. Why the Book of Enoch still speaks to us today. So what does all this mean for us? Why does Enoch, both the man and the book, still matter? 1. Enoch shows us what it means to walk with God. He lived in a world filled with violence, corruption, and demonic activity, yet he walked with God faithfully for 300 years, in a world drowning in distraction, compromise, and spiritual darkness. Enoch stands as a model of what it means to truly walk in intimacy with God. 2. Enoch reminds us of the supernatural war we're in. The Book of Enoch reveals how fallen angels corrupted humanity by teaching forbidden knowledge, like astrology, sorcery, weaponry, and cosmetics, things that were never meant for mankind. This idea echoes in the New Testament concept of spiritual warfare, principalities and powers, and the demonic influence in culture. 3. Enoch points forward to judgment and restoration. His prophecy in Jude, "Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints," matches Revelation 19 and Daniel 7. It is a vision of God returning in judgment, with his holy ones to reclaim the earth. That's not mythology. That's future reality. 4. Enoch restores a forgotten worldview. Too many modern Christians read the Bible with a rationalistic Western lens, ignoring angels, demons, and the heavenly realm. The Book of Enoch pulls back the curtain on that spiritual dimension, not as fantasy, but as part of the original worldview of biblical writers. Conclusion. The Book of Enoch is not just a strange old text. It is a window into the spiritual battle that began before the flood and still rages today. It is a reminder that God sees the corruption in the world and will deal with it, that evil does not win, and that those who walk with God, like Enoch, will be vindicated. Whether Enoch is one of the two witnesses, whether you believe the watchers are still bound or soon to be released, one thing is clear: Enoch still matters. So keep watching, because in the next video, we are going to explore one of the most controversial ideas in the Book of Enoch. What does it mean that the watchers were bound for 70 generations? And could we be living in the time of their release? If this video gave you a deeper understanding of who Enoch really was and why his story still matters, then do not forget to hit that like button to help others discover this message. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. And if you want to go even deeper right now, check out the Nephilim and Watchers videos linked on screen. It connects directly to what Enoch warned us about and what may still be unfolding in our world today. Thanks for watching, and as always, walk with God like Enoch did.